talk about Origen's win.
Thank you very much, QuickShot. I am joined by the whimsical mid laner of Origen. It is Power of Evil. Power, congrats on your win. Thanks. But it was far from clean. I got to ask you, what are you guys doing really to work on what we've seen a little bit of sloppy communication over the last couple weeks?
Well, so we still need to kind of get used to the new patch. We need to adapt. I think we are quite slow in adapting to this new patch, so that might be an issue. But I think we are on a good path, and this game in particular was the Twisted Fate was a huge problem. He had a lot of map pressure, and with the side lanes having no auto turrets, it's really easy for him to get catches, especially against Quinn, who is supposed to split push all the time and trying to get catches in the mid lane and crew up as 5-man group.
But you managed to do it in the end. So talking about your play in particular, you had a fantastic score on that Lulu, 3-0-9, 100% kill participation. We also saw your Orianna not do too bad, even if you didn't get that win last week. And I want to know, you moving to more utility mages, is this something that is what you're making a decision to do or what the team really wants you to do?
Well, to be honest, it depends on a lot of different stuff. There are a lot of different reasons when to pick which champion and which champion to practice at all. So I think in particular I'm playing kind of actually assassins as well, but it's always in this game, what do I think is the best? What is best in the team composition? What's the best in the enemy team composition? So you can't really say this and this is really strong or really OP. I think it always depends on a lot of different stuff, and you just need to be able to pick them. So your team doesn't kind of rely on you having only 3 champions. So I'm always trying to keep my champion pool big, so my team can kind of choose. We go for this champion or we go for the other one, and it's working out good.
It is nice to see you adapt and grow as a player. Now, Origen will face off against Elements tomorrow. You had a good start to this week. Is this where it all starts turning around for Origen?
I think we had a rough start, as you already said, but I think the next weeks I think we are on a good path, as I said before already. So I think we can maybe even go for a 2-0 this week and then be on the right path for the next weeks.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Power. And now we are going to send it back to the analyst desk to break down Origen's victory.
Thank you very much, Pyrotechnics and Power of Evil. Let's talk a little bit about what he mentioned there. Still adjusting to the patches, what was echoed by Soaz, by the rest of the team, by Power of Evil. We do know that patch 6.2 dropped this morning for us, at least. That might come into play sooner or later. I'm starting to think that might not be a fast enough adjustment time for a pro team.
Yeah, but I don't think it's this patch in particular, but it's just the new meta of it, the new vision changes. Because in general, 5.24 was out for ages and not too much changed into 6.1. And then 6.2, there will be some changes there again. But I just think it's a different playstyle. The games are shorter. Origen last season kind of had this, we'll just wait, comfortably play the game, and then we'll group up and just outplay you that way. I don't think that style is as prevalent anymore, and they just need to change. So regardless of patch, I just think it's an entire playstyle shift that they're working through.
We saw the kind of the return of that playstyle, though, as soon as Sven was like, okay, this is my time. I've got the Bloodthirster, we've got the Lulu. He's like, okay, now I'm confident. I'm just going to always go forward. Yeah. Always be playing forward. And finally they hit that point where it's like, oh, this is the Origen that we actually saw last year start messing teams around, but it was very, very slow.
Yeah, I think we always knew that they could play the 4-item 80 carry Lulu composition because Sven's just a beast or a Valor, but the problem is they don't get there too often anymore. Lulu is very often banned and picked away, or they just do really dumb mistakes where the biggest team fights they lost in passing weeks is where Sven ran to farm and the rest fought without him. When they're fighting with Sven, by all means, Origen is a great team. They just didn't really have that happen every time.
Well, in this game also specifically, they had a strong early game. They got that first blood. They got that reactive second blood. Yet Betsy, again, with a strong performance, getting picks off here and there. But as you mentioned, it is that 4-item 80 carry coming into play. Let's take a look at some of the plays from Sven. And it reminded me a lot seeing him play that way of the summer finals, actually, what I think was a peak of Origen's play. It was also with Lulu, but then not with Lucian. And you just see how comfortable he is with that protection.
I mean, you just have a lot of room for error, right? So you can dodge aggressively, you can dash aggressively, and use your gap closer to really get the double auto F every time. And then if Miffy's on something like Alistar and he did a lot of good combos, you have Power of Evil just spamming the shields on every rotation, and you have a QSS at your disposal, it gives you just so much freedom, and it's so hard to play against. Especially Saphir couldn't do anything this game because his range just wasn't long enough. By the time he could start his first auto attack, there was already an E auto Q combo in his face, and he was already losing the trade. On top of Evolution, they got Wild Growth.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my most frustrating things to watch of, was coming out of picks and bans with this Vayne pick. I'm like, okay, Saphir, didn't really see too much from this. He has played Scalers in Challenger, but this game he was just so afraid to do anything. He got Flame Horizoned and was 110 CS down by the end of this game. 0 kills, 4 deaths, and 2 assists. Just couldn't get in the fights.
It only works if you snowball the early game and you use them as a split pusher, and then you get the TF to a point where you can comfortably clean the mid waves, so Origen just dies to split. That's the counter to a Lulu teamfight composition. You'll never beat it 5v5 if the team drafting it knows what they're doing, so you really want to 1-3-1, but ROCCAT was never in a position to execute that, or not even execute it properly even then. So then, of course, late game, 4-item Lucian with QSS is going to wreck your whole team.
Absolutely devastating from the side of Niels. And a win on the board for OG. We need to take a break as G2 and Fnatic gear up for our next match. And earlier, we asked you what element of macro strategy was most important in the current metagame. And Eric Deruda tweeted, the lane swap seems important at the moment. I've seen teams lose games off the back of bad one. Fnatic last week, for instance. And we'll be right back as Crepo is going to take a closer look at lane swaps, both good and bad. So stay with us.
It's like a 70% Sword can join scrim rate.
No, best part is when you invite him for duo. I invite him to duo. He's like, I'm gonna accept. Then he accepts like 30 seconds late, and he just selected role, and then goes back to his old other game, you know. And I have to wait another minute. I'm like, dude, this is not how it works.
Nobody has died yet. Mythy's looking forward as the exhaust comes down. Extinct slides and first blood to Power of Evil.
Debate no more.
Nice. We're walking in there. We're gonna be there too. Let's be there. We can fight. Wait for Lucian. Let's go.
Freddy's the first victim as he's killed by Sven's auto attacks. The culling is firing away, making extinct. Origen destroy ROCCAT's Nexus.